Time for Law and Disorder.
I demand a lawyer.
With attorney Jeff Kaufman on 101.1 WJRR.
All right, welcome in Jeff Kaufman, a partner at Kaufman Lynd, a local firm here specializing in personal injury. If you or someone you know has been injured, need some guidance, some assistance, need to know if you have a potential case, Jeff's a good resource to reach out to, Taco.
You better believe it. Very easy to get in touch with, too. Jeff at whenyouneedus.com. Again, that's Jeff at whenyouneedus.com or pound 546 on your mobile.
Going to get to some of your questions for Jeff here in a moment. Some stuff going on in Kaufman world there, Taco.
You know it.
All right. Jeff, I wanted to ask you this with the Matthew Perry death over the weekend.
Yeah, sad days.
Last night, the L.A. medical examiner, the coroner, says have deferred. Going to have a deferred cause of death because more tests are needed. And then with that comes, it will probably be several weeks. Why is it always take so long for tests to be run? I'm not saying there should be an exception because he was a celebrity, but when you really need a test run or whatever, analyze DNA or whatever, why does it always take so long?
Money. There are too many things in line right now. They have toxicology reports, DNA reports. These take a long time. And you could imagine let's say you have 300 criminal cases in front of you. Are you going to bump it because it's a celebrity?
I'm just asking.
Yeah, these tests take a long time, and they're underfunded. When I tell you that the average medical examiner and everything else, they're knee deep. They're months back. Right. There's no way for them to even catch up if they want to. There's no money to do it. Every criminal case comes in. They're analyzing 50 pieces of data. And when you talk about data in a criminal case, I have done criminal a long time, but here's the deal. Everything has to be watched. Everything has to be very clear. It has to be held a certain way. A chain of custody, all these different things go on. So there's a huge process to it, and they just don't have enough people. And the idea that we need to know Matthew Perry's death more than we need the 300 murder investigations we're looking at, I guess they just put it back in the line. It should be. It should be exactly where it is in line.
Well, you posed that as a question the first time, and you said, should his case be moved ahead of these other? If I'm the coroner, I'm sorry, but $20 million a year the guy made in royalties, I'm sure the family probably wants to know results quicker. Hello, Perry's. Bob, Coroner Bob here. Start stroking, and I'm talking checks.
Listen, I guess if they want to put their own money up there, they can. But, I mean, you're talking about a guy who, and this is a weird, if you play this
Coroner
out,
Bob
it's not,
would be on the tape.
It doesn't feel like a suicide or something like that. He just got back from exercising and got in the jacuzzi.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy just shows up from pickleball. Maybe it was a bad pickleball game. But
he honestly, I mean, that's the thing.
He had a lot of health issues.
Could have hit his, because we all know about his past drug use and alcohol abuse, but he could have hit his, you can't just assume. He could have hit his head. And, Well,
we'll know in weeks then.
Yeah. Well, it's sad. Well, if the toxicology report comes back, he's got nothing in the system. It's nothing in the system. That's the only thing I think they're really waiting on.
Dear world, you can get your questions in. Again, personal injury is Jeff's specialty, but he'll answer all questions. All that we ask, keep them short. Don't send us a book or he doesn't know them. 22526. Dear world record holder Jeff Kaufman, I recently found out I have squatters living on one of my rental properties. Apparently, you ready for this? It gets worse. Apparently, they've injured themselves and are now trying to sue me. Do I have any recourse? Oh my God. I would just...
Well, I don't know any about the people in the case and everything else like that, but trespassers have different rights when it comes to your property. They're not as protected. They're not guests. It's harder for them to be able to sue in situations like this. The state of Florida now has a deal where, if you're more than 50% responsible for your damages, you don't get anything. So I think it's going to be difficult. I don't think a jury's going to love these people so much. I'm not fond of this because there's an entitlement issue now. It's like a game now people play. And it kind of makes me sick that you can have your investment. You're doing everything possible to make your life better. And somebody just goes, oh, screw this guy. I'm going into his property. I don't like it. You could do an eviction. It costs about $2,000, $3,000. They're going to argue that there's some lease or somebody leased the property to them and it's unfair. But it's all a little bit of nonsense.
And then, see this so much now, man. It's just crazy.
Well, they lie. It's the same lie. Oh, this guy leased me the property. Oh, what'd you do? I paid cash. Stop it.
And then on top of it, they're trying to sue them.
Yeah.
Oh, good morning. Legal question. Do you have to pay property taxes on a commercial building owned and used for 501c3 purpose?
Wow.
Thank you from a Kissimmee cat lady.
Well, I know certain churches are off the hook when it comes to stuff like that, but I don't think all nonprofits are. I don't think it applies to all nonprofits. I think it applies to churches in certain areas. My advice is to contact a tax attorney and just ask the basic question.
If it is all nonprofits, I'm going to start one out of my house.
The
no property taxes anymore.
Big pizza for the world.
BAF Pizza.
That's right.
You know it.
Pizza Planning Committee.
For Jeff Kaufman, 15% disabled, still employed, still employed by the government on workman's comp, heart and lung bill. Jeez. What happens to workman's comp if I retire?
What happens to what workers' comp?
It's gone, right?
Yeah, I don't know what that means. Your workers' comp is decided by the company you're at. The question is did you have a claim? I mean, this is a very open question. I'm not quite sure what that means.
Yeah,
I wish I had an answer for you. It sounds like you need some advice concerning your workers' comp. If you had an attorney when you were dealing with it, let them handle it. But at the same time, if you lose your job, I mean, that doesn't have anything to do with your workers' comp deal that you made through your case. So seems a little up in the air. Sorry, dude.
Okay. Jeff, former employer sent me to Detroit for training for 2 weeks. 3 days into training, boss emailed me a training agreement that I would not have signed if I was able to review it prior to being signed up for the training. In that agreement, I would have to have had worked for the company 2 years. I left the company. They kept my last check, 16 hours regular time and 8 hours of overtime, plus 48 hours of PTO payout. Can I do anything with this?
These are always... Couldn't we get the easy ones today?
I know.
Couldn't we get the damn easy ones?
I tell them to keep them.
These are always so bizarre. Okay. You got the situation. You had a deal going in there. They changed the deal. You signed an agreement under duress. You can argue that it was under duress. But if I have to do the math right, it looks like you're talking about 50 hours of pay. Let's say it's times by 20. You're talking $1,000. You can take them to small claims court. The problem is if you hire an attorney, $1,000 wouldn't even cover 3 hours.
There you go. So
there you go.
This could be a quicker one for you.
Sometimes it's not about the law. Sometimes it's just about realistic expectations.
Mm-hmm. Can you sue the VA for malpractice?
I think you can sue any doctor. I mean, the government's open, but I don't know about suing the VA directly. I mean, you might be able to sue the doctor directly, but...
you'd have to have another doctor back you up.
Contact Pat...
Yeah, you've got to have somebody else in the medical field testify that what that doctor did was, the root of what's wrong with you.
And usually,
and
doctors,
and that lack of reasonable care caused you your damages.
Yeah,
right.
And usually doctors are in the same profession, so they kind of bond
it's not
together.
That, but here's what happened. I feel bad a lot of times. There's medical malpractice, and there's just stuff happening. We die, we break down, things go wrong. Medicine isn't perfect. I mean, look at during COVID, look how many people died. We didn't even know why they were dying, and I think it just naturally happens sometimes. Oh, my mother was 95. The doctor could have figured out a way. She's 95, dude.
Yeah. She lived a long life.
I mean, we have some legitimate medical malpractice cases where they cut off the wrong leg. God. They don't do the right thing. They miss something they should have caught. But in the most time, medical field, I constantly have to go to the doctor for something, and half the time the doctor looks at me and goes, "I don't know. I got to do a test. I don't have a clue." There's no perfect way of doing this, but some doctors do the wrong thing, and when that happens, they should be held accountable. But not every case.
One day, I just want to have that cut off the wrong leg thing happen.
No, you don't.
I could clear.
No, you don't.
I get used to that.
You got enough problems without having to work with one leg.
I'd get used to that.
Adapt and overcome is
That's all I need.
Adapt and overcome.
It's not hard.
The lady took the wrong leg.
It's not hard to do radio with one leg. I've seen. There's a guy around here that has a little bit of a gimp.
All right, time for one more there, Gimpy.
Legal question: how do I go about kicking out my 20-year-old son and his girlfriend? Their own son, kicking him and his girlfriend from my house. They both don't have jobs, and I really want them out.
Bye-bye. Eviction.
Victim.
A victim. It sucks, and I hate this because we have a world. Somebody actually came to me like this about a year ago, and her child was blackmailed her, did everything possible. Kids suck.
It's her family.
What happened with kids? Didn't kids, used to have jobs, used to do things?
Now you have to
they
evict
just
them.
Suck.
Yeah.
So the kids suck eviction rule. So you're going to have to evict them. It's going to run you about $2,000.
Okay, around $2,000.
Not by me, but I could send you to someone.
Jeff, going to have any appearances coming up here in the next week or so, Taco?
Yes, for that eviction question, you can email him directly, jeff@whenyouneedus.com, and he'll send you somebody else's direction to help you. The Kaufman and Lynd are going to be over at Orlando Weekly Beer Fest. It's happening at Festival Bay Park?
Oh, it's a great event, man.
Orlando Festival Park. And huge event. It's on this Saturday starting at 2 p.m. You know how it goes, Beer Fest.
It's great, man. You sample every beer. There's like 50 to 100 Uber over there. I mean, I love going there. Let's just say this. I drink about one time a year, and this is probably it. So some of the advice I'm giving in the booth might not be accurate.
Oh, boy.
I'm giving you a disclaimer right now. If I start speaking in tongues, you blame it on all the craft beer.
Again, Orlando Weekly's Beer Fest this weekend starting at 2. Kaufman will be out there. Look for his tent.
All right, Jeff, we appreciate it. We'll gather again next Monday and hold another session, I trust.
You got it, gentlemen.
All right. Jeff Kaufman, everybody.
Taco on demand. Download the iHeartRadio app and listen anytime, anywhere.
This is JRR.